All right, so you just got a new toy and you want to use it. All these buttons are confusing. You don't know what all these letters mean on the dial. And you're like, Vern, just give me just the most basic things I need to get my camera up and running so I can start taking some shoots. And then I will learn it in my own time. Are you ready? Okay, let's get started.
Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, click, click.
So I guess the very first thing I want you to do is get familiar with how to hold your camera. So every camera has a place to usually put your hand around to some degree. In this one, your fingers wrap fully around, and then your thumb goes onto this little thumb pad here. So pull the strap out of the way so I kind of hold it around, put my thumb here. Now, always support your lens with your thumb, okay? And then just that way you're free to turn it. And then you have full control over your camera. So put your thumb underneath your lens, whatever lens, could be a short lens, could be a long lens. And then that way you're ready to access the buttons. So most buttons are accessible in this position. If you wrap your fingers around, and I put my finger on the trigger here, and I'm kind of positioned in the correct place. Okay, so thumb on the pad. If you have a pad on there or a position, you'll be able to tell. It'll feel good, or it will feel completely awkward if you don't have it right. So, all right. So holding the camera is the first step. And what I always tell people is put your strap on, because if you have a strap and you let go or something happens, you just saved your investment, right? So always use your strap. I play a lot of guitar, and I was always taught the same thing. If you pick up a guitar, put the strap on. Same thing. If something happens, you're always kind of protected, okay? So that's the first step, holding your camera properly, okay? Pretty easy. All right, so I like to use this Canon camera because most people, when they buy a new camera, a DSLR or a mirrorless, this tends to be the brand that most people buy because it has the widest range of prices. And so this is what I chose. I chose a Canon 760D, and it can do 4K video, and it also takes pretty good photos. And it's a crop sensor camera. It's kind of a mid-level semi-professional camera. But you can get professional shots with it too, so it just depends on how you use it and what you know. All right, so enough of that. That's too much technical blah, blah, blah. So basically, the number one thing is make sure you have a recharged battery. Now, the batteries will usually only go into the cameras in one way. Now, you can see the contacts. So the contacts usually go down inside the camera. So there's a door. You basically flip open the door, put the battery in. It'll usually just go one way. And this one has a little spot. It has a lever that will click once the battery is engaged, and then close the door. Now the second thing is your SD card. You need a memory card for your camera, for most cameras. All right, so this one you just push down, slide, and then lift up, and then you could see the memory card in here. Now with this one, you can't just pull it out. You have to push down, it'll unlock it, and then push it up, then you pull it out, okay? So you've got your 16 gigabyte memory card. Now, memory cards will only go in one way. And if you slide it in and it doesn't seem to be going, then it's not in the correct way, okay? And this one, you can tell it slides in, and then it has a little bit of a spring to it, and just push it until it stops. And then you can hear it click in, and then close your battery door. Okay, so basically, that's it. Now you're ready to start operating the camera. You want a fresh battery, you want a memory card, whatever size you decide to use, just get a memory card, okay? It could be 8 gigabyte, could be 16, could be 32, 64, whatever. You just need to start with whatever size that you can afford at the time. All right, most people start with an 8 gigabyte. That's pretty normal. All right, so now you're off to the next step. So the next step is turning on your camera. Now this power switch is up here, so I would just switch it to the on position, okay? Now that our camera has power, we take off our lens cap, okay? Now it shows you some things here on this screen. But what we want to do right now is we want to look through the eyepiece. That's called the viewfinder, okay? Now this viewfinder has a little dial on the side. And if you look at it closely, it has a minus or a plus side. So you look through there, and if it doesn't seem in focus add or subtract by turning that dial until everything looks sharp, okay? This adjusts to your eyesight, to how well your eye is, okay? And once that's set up, then you can go to the next step, okay? So adjust the viewfinder if it has an adjustment on the side, okay? Power it up and adjust the viewfinder. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to this fancy dial here. Now, this dial, if you try to turn it just by itself, it's locked, okay? And there's a button in the center. This takes it out of the lock. So you push on the center and then rotate the button at the same time. This is a feature that keeps this from rotating on its own or getting bumped accidentally. So if you have a button in the center, push the button and rotate this. Now, the only thing we're going to concern ourselves with today is where it says AV, letters AV or letter A. And what that means is aperture priority. That's what we're going to shoot today in aperture priority mode. So if you look, there's a little line here. So you line up the letter with the line that you want to shoot today. So today we're going to put on AV or letter A, aperture priority, okay? So we're going to turn it there. It's already there. All right, so all we're going to adjust today is the aperture, okay? And when we shoot an aperture priority, what that does is it either blurs out the background on the shot, like for maybe a model fashion shoot where the person's in focus and the rest is blurred out, or everything is in focus, okay? So that's called the f-stop. Your f-stop, the lower the number, the more blurry the background is. So f1.8, f2, f3, it's going to be blurry behind you. But f5, f6, f8, f12, as the numbers get higher, everything becomes in focus. Now, there is a sweet spot between f8 and f12 on your lens where everything will be sharply in focus, but once you get past f12 on most lenses, things start to distort and they aren't as nice of an image. So try to stay below f12, and if you want it completely blurry, go to the lowest number that your camera will adjust, okay? Now every camera has an f-stop adjustment somewhere. It might be a button, it might be a dial. I believe in this case it's this rotation dial here. Now let's see if I get this on here. All right, so if I turn the camera on, you can see the viewer screen there. Now, what I'll do is I will turn this little dial here until I get the lowest f-stop possible. See f3.5? So that means everything behind the subject is going to be blurry. Now, if I rotate it to a higher number, f5.6, f7.1, things will become into a sharp focus throughout the entire image. And so it just depends on what you want for your photo, okay? And that's all we're going to focus on today. Whether you want it to be sharp in focus for everything or you want the background blurry, okay? So that's what aperture priority does, all right? And it's based upon the f-stop number, whichever one you choose, okay? All right, so the next thing I want you to learn is you have your trigger button here, okay? Now, if you have pressed the trigger button, it will focus your subject on most cameras, okay? So half press, focus, push down, click, it'll take the photo, okay? So on this camera and many cameras, once you have press it, you hear a little bit of a beep, and that means it's in focus. You're ready to push the trigger. So I'll do it a little closer. Maybe you can hear it here again. Ready? 1, 2, hear it? That means you're ready for the shot, okay? And that's it. That's basically it. That's all we want you to do today. Start taking your photos. Put your thumb underneath your lens, find something in focus, half click till it beeps, pull the trigger. Pretty easy. Now go out and start taking photos. And I want you to use it without a flash, okay? It's better to learn what your camera can do without a flash first and what it will do with each and every lens and how that will vary than to use your flash at first. So that's what I want you to do. And that's it. That's the whole thing right there. This will get you into a shooting position that many photographers use, okay? Including myself. I shoot in Aperture Priority, and it's just that easy to set up. All right? So any questions, just leave me a comment, and I'll figure out if I can help you, okay? All right, guys, so that's it. You know, when I started shooting, I just wanted, just get me up and going. I need to take some shots. I'm so overwhelmed by looking at all these things and all these thoughts, and I just need to get up and rolling, and that's what I needed. I needed a video just to show me just a few things. And I'm taking you a little farther than most people would. They would probably put you on just a spot on the dial that would be a scene or a mode, but I want you to have a little more control. I want you to basically control at least one feature, okay? So I'm going to build off of this. So the next video, I'm going to take it one more step. We're going to learn another thing, and we're going to learn another thing, and we're just going to go really slow, however long it takes, and hopefully we'll get you up and running, and you can learn what I know, and we'll grow together, okay? All right, so if I've helped you, throw me a like, click subscribe, and let's grow together.